ensure that you have an electoral that everyone agrees is valid and genuine and fair. What we want is to have every vote count. We don't want a situation where the result, regardless of who wins or loses, you don't want a case where the result can be attacked and where whoever wins can be viewed to be an illegitimate office holder. So the Republican County Committee should join us in this action for a new election that is unimpeachable. And again, there were about 5 serious irregularities on notice, on the voice vote. Now, just this morning we learned that we're not going to get a hearing before this court. We were very dismayed. This is an unprecedented action. Despite the clear merits of this case, we would win on the merits. But the Rockland County Supreme Court has decided that we will not get a hearing. So we're going to consider our options to go to either a higher appellate court within the state court system or even to the federal courts. They're relying on a very obscure section of the election law, which I argue very clearly does not apply in this case. So we will be in touch and advising the press shortly of our future actions, but this action will be proceeding. Thank you all very much.
Questions? What did they deny the hearing on based on what?
The hearing has been denied based upon the application of a statutory deadline which does not apply to county committee meetings. It applies to conventions where there is the issuance of something called a certificate of nomination. But such a certificate is never issued by a county committee when it merely meets. So it's a deliberate misreading of the statute in order to justify not having a hearing on the merits, because the merits that we have are extremely strong. So you're only doing this procedural reliance when you basically know that you've got a losing case. In addition, I'll point out that we didn't have a hearing. The other side had not even been given notice because we only filed this at 4:30 yesterday afternoon. We filed this 22 hours ago. And it's interesting that someone else apparently stepped in to look at the merits of the procedural aspect of the case. That's highly irregular.
Do you know who did that?
We do not know, and there's no way for us to know at this point in time. But this is highly irregular, where it seems that the role of the courts is to be the umpire. It's not to play the game. You call the balls and strikes, but you don't throw the pitch.
So you don't even know who denied the hearing?
Well, at this point, officially it was denied by Judge Alfieri, but this is clear judicial error. I'll be very clear on that. Any further questions?
Sure, let's see. You said there were 5 irregularities. You listed 3. I'm assuming the 4th was the letter to defame, like the letter that was put out before on the seats. Is that one of them?
Well, actually, no. We're talking about irregularities in the actual process. There's a lot of communication back and forth. That has nothing to do with this particular lawsuit. Our lawsuit that was filed yesterday is just on the irregularities and the serious flaws of the county committee meeting on September 20. For example, the primary election was held on September 13th, and those results have yet to be certified by the Rockland County Board of Elections. Without that certification, you don't know who's eligible to actually vote at a meeting. But they went ahead and had a meeting anyway. They gave notice to people that they couldn't possibly tell were valid winners. But they did so anyway. All of these amount to serious irregularities that warrant the invalidation. You can't have an election where people can vote in the election without being qualified to vote, when you haven't yet counted the votes. That's what they did. I think we're going to wrap this up. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending.
Thank you. Any questions, sir?